Yeah, doing our thing, yeah, we make it look easy.
All right, today I'm pretty excited to show you what we've done to this Subaru. This is one of the biggest systems we've done in a while in a car. We did this install last winter. It was here for the full winter. We didn't work on it, the whole time, but we did it in between things, but it's pretty massive what we did to it. So we'll get started. I'll just start in the front of the car and kind of work my way back. To begin, we replaced this factory battery with the Stinger battery. On top of the battery, we made a mount to put a 300 amp circuit breaker. From there, we ran 0 gauge power wire to the back of the car, and in the back we also have another Stinger battery that is just pretty much for the stereo back there. We have a 300 amp circuit breaker in the back also to isolate the two batteries, so if a wire gets pinched in between, like gets in a wreck or something like that, both breakers would pop and protect the batteries. In the front bumper of the car, we were able to put a front-facing camera so that it makes it easier for him to park. This front lip carbon fiber spoiler is super low to the ground. This thing's on air ride, so we wanted to protect him if he was parking, pulling up to a curb, speed bumps, things like that. So there is a front camera on there. Right behind that front camera, we built a bracket off that camera, and then we put in a magnetic charge port, which you might have seen in some of our other videos. What he can do then, since the car is not an everyday driver, when he has it parked, he can just take and clip that on there really easily. It hooks up to his trickle charger that he would keep in his garage. And then that way, if he forgets to unplug it when he backs out of the garage, it'll unplug itself versus pulling something out of the car or pulling something out of the wall. A couple of the other items that we cleaned up in the car, when it came in, it had the boost gauge. It was kind of zip tied to the roll cage. I'm not sure if I have a picture of that, but we took that and we mounted it to the dash with a little mount there to clean that up a little bit. And then also he has air ride in here. So we took the air ride controller and then we flushed it into where there used to be a pocket down at the bottom of the console. We were also able to add on either side of the air ride controller 2 USB ports so he can plug in his phone to go to the stereo, charge it, things like that for the driver and the passenger. For the head unit, we chose the Alpine Halo deck, nice big screen on it. In this vehicle, it has what they call a double din deck in it, or it'll have a smaller deck and then a pocket on some of the base model cars. So it's about, just your regular double din size, which is kind of like two radios. Looks really good in here. The colors match the dash really well, and it fills that in pretty good, doesn't block any vents. We just thought it was the best choice to get the biggest screen in here, and it gave it probably the coolest look too. From the deck to the amps, we used all premium JL Audio, their best interconnects for RCAs to run from front to the back. Same thing, if we were using anything from one amp to another, they're all the best JL Audio RCAs. So if we're going to keep going from the front to the back, we got the head unit. We'll do the front door speakers. For the front door speakers, we used for all the door speakers, every speaker in the car for the high-end stuff, we used the Focal Utopias. In the front doors, we did 2 of their 6-inch mid-bass in each door. So there's 2 in this door at the bottom, 2 in that door at the bottom. And then mid-door, we were able to get one of their 3-inch mid-range in. And then a little bit higher in the door, we got the Utopia tweeter. These cars usually come stock with a little tweeter and the mirror pod on the inside. That was a little bit too small to get the Utopia tweeter behind, so we integrated that into the door panels, the tweeters. The door panels were completely redone. We stripped them down, took vinyl off, rebuilt the bottom of it for the 2 6-inches to fit, rebuilt it for the 3-inch, and then added the tweeter at the top. So they are fully custom doors. We were able to get them to a point where they are ready to wrap. It was a little bit above our pay grade to wrap them. We're not full upholstery shop, so we teamed up with another shop. We were able to send these door panels to them. They wrapped them in leather for us and then ship them back. The customer did want to do some color change lighting also, so in the bottom of the door, in the mid-bass area, we were able to put in LEDs around the speakers, so he can hit that switch in the middle. He can choose whatever color he wants, make it go with the music, change colors, certain speeds, things like that. That controller is a JL Audio piece that's made mainly for their marine applications, but it can be used with pretty much any color change light. So we use that quite a bit because it's easy to operate. There are two other switches in that center console. One is for the air ride control, where it does the same type of thing, sends power to the air ride so that he can lower the car or lift the car without turning the key on if he's at a show. The third switch that's in there is we did put some LEDs under the hood. So if he is at a show and he has the hood propped open, those LEDs shine down on the engine compartment or engine bay to help show off the engine, which is pretty awesome. I'm not an expert by any means on engines, but I do know that this thing has a lot of stuff going on under the hood and it looks absolutely amazing. All right, moving on to the rear doors of the car. Same thing, we use the Focal Utopia speakers. We did a single 6-inch mid bass in the rears and then a single tweeter in the rear door. We did not do any lighting in the rear doors. We did that because most of the time when he shows the car, he'll have the car with the front 2 doors open, and then the rear 2 doors, he'll just leave the rear windows down because it's a better view to see into the back of the car to see the rest of the stuff I'm going to show you here in a second. So there wasn't much of a need to have a lot of lighting in the rear doors, so we skipped that. All right, now for the fun part, the stuff we did in the back. There's a lot of cool stuff back there. We did 4 amplifiers in here. We did all JL Audio, their VX series that have the built-in DSPs. We did 2 8-channel amplifiers and then 2 monoblock amplifiers. So how it's running is one of the 8 channels is running 2 of the front mid bass, the 3-inch in the front doors, and the tweeter in the front doors. The mid bass in the front, it's bridged, 4 of the channels are bridged to 2 of those, so getting quite a bit of power to those. The other 8-channel amp is pretty much working kind of the same way. 4 of the channels are bridged down to 2 channels. They run the other 2 front door mid bass. And then the last 4 channels are going to the mid bass in the rear and the tweeters. Everything's active, no passive crossovers, no external crossovers that you got to wire up. Everything goes directly from the speaker to the amp. All the crossover is happening inside the amplifier. The other 2 amplifiers are both the 1001 monoblocks. Each one of those, one is running to each woofer. We did something kind of unique with the W7 woofers in the back. We wanted to be able to kind of show them off. This car's a little bit different because it has this huge wing on the back, which is pretty awesome. The one thing about it though is it makes it so the hatch doesn't open. So there's no way to really open the hatch at a show to show off the subwoofer box. So we tried to, think of ways, hey, how can we show off these woofers? So, and then still have enough airspace for the box. So, because there's a lot of stuff back there. So we built the subwoofer enclosures are sealed. They're divided in the center since we're using 2 separate amplifiers. And then we were able to invert the W7 woofers, which, you see that all the time. Sounds easy, mounted upside down. But the way that the W7 woofers work is you have to pull the surround back to screw them in, and then you clip this thing back on. So we did have to kind of think that through, the way we mounted it. So how we did that is we made some flanges that the actual woofer mounts to, and then that is inverted, and then we screw the flange down after the woofer's mounted to that flange. And then we were also able to put some acrylic there so we could light up the ring underneath. Also back in that area is between the 2 woofers, there is that secondary battery that I told you about that has a plexiglass cover over it. So if you do look through the rear window, which is tinted, but you can still kind of see through there, you can see the 2 woofers and you can see the battery in the center there. One other thing we did on top of that battery, where we have the 300 amps circuit breaker that goes to the front battery, you got to make sure that's serviceable. Since you can't open the hatch, it's hard to get to. So we lasered out a spot right over the top of it, so you could reach through the back seat and get to that circuit breaker to trip it, turn it on, turn it off, without having to tear a whole bunch of stuff apart. So since we were using so many amplifiers, we did use the JL Audio VXI hub. What that is, it's a device that you plug in basically an Ethernet cable to, or Cat5, Cat6 cable to it, and then you plug that into each amplifier. So you have a run coming from each amplifier that goes into that, and then that kind of consolidates them all. You plug your computer into the main amplifier, and then you can see all the amplifiers in one window when you go to tune it on your computer. You can switch back and forth super easy, so you don't have to unplug from one to the other. For your super observant people, you're gonna look at that and you're gonna be like, hey, you only got 4 amps, but there's more than 4 cables going in there. We did add a couple extra cables just to fill the ports to make it look like, you know, all symmetrical. Those cables just go down and go to nothing. On either side of the amplifiers, we have our ground and power distribution for the amps. Super accessible, so if we have to service something, we can take fuses in and out. Testing super easy, and then it also gave it that symmetrical look by having something on each side. When the car came to us, the air suspension tank and the pump was in the back of the car, just kind of above the spare tire. Obviously, adding all this stuff in there, we had to still get that tank in there, still get the pump in there. We actually added a secondary pump, it came in with 1 pump, left with 2. Had a chrome pump when it first showed up, but we ended up ordering 2 black pumps because it kind of looks a little better and more clean with the way everything's going. So that was a real challenge, trying to find a spot and how to design this thing so you can see everything and show it all off, but not look like it's like a huge take up the back window type of thing. That's why we kind of came up with the design of stacking the amplifiers to kind of give it that level look, and then putting that tank above it. The tank, when it came in, was just a regular aluminum tank. We sent that off to a paint shop, had it color coded to match the exterior of the car. So I think that gives it a nice look back there. The airlift controller itself, it kind of has that same look as, you know, with all the lines coming out of it as the VXI hub did. So we tried to get that in the middle to also make it look symmetrical. I think that turned out great too. Everything, you know, if you're OCD type of person, everything lines up really well, and I think looks really great back there. Small detail on the amps that we did is those amps on the side of them, they kind of have some insets where it says JL Audio. We lasered out some red acrylic in those same style letters, and then we inserted those into those inlays to give you that JL Audio red that you're seeing pop out from the amplifiers. We also added 1/2-inch acrylic underneath the amplifiers on each rack to give it that glow. Finally, in the back of the car, we did add a license plate frame that has a camera in it, so it's easier for them to back up, since it is a little bit harder to back up with the, you know, big wing and stuff on there. Blocks a little bit of the view, so that comes onto the screen for him when he puts it in reverse automatically. Well, I think that sums up everything we did to it. As you can see, this car has spared no expense. I believe it's a 2014. It's only got 4,500 miles on it. It is just absolutely amazing. It's probably the coolest Subaru I have ever seen or worked on. They went all out. There's no expense spared on this thing. I think he was telling me you got these, you know, wheels from Japan or something like that. It's all carbon fiber, everywhere you look. It's all real carbon fiber. This isn't, you know, an overlay. This stuff right here, this is a wrap, you know, like a matte carbon wrap, but everything else that you're seeing, that's full carbon, real stuff. So it's a cool car, super cool car. They got the race seats with the 5-point harnesses in here. You know, everything under the hood is cool, you know, red turbo, it's an amazing vehicle. All right, well, hopefully you like this one. We've got, you know, a lot of builds out there. I've been trying to film stuff that we've built over the years, like if people bring something in for, you know, a tune-up or check this or check that, and it's something big that we've built. I've been trying to, you know, record videos of it, because I really wish we would have started this YouTube channel, you know, 15 years ago, because we have built so many amazing things. You know, the people that have worked here, myself, we've just been very lucky to get customers that are willing to just go all out and let us do a lot of times whatever we want, to a certain extent. And we've just got so many cool projects over the years. I just want to share those with everybody so that they can see, you know, what we've accomplished over the years, and then also just kind of have a video log for later in life, and just be able to look back and be like, holy cow, we've been able to build a lot of cool stuff. So anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you liked it, you know, hit that like, hit that subscribe, share, comment, all that stuff. I'll try and reply to everything the best I can. So thanks again. Hope you guys have a great day, and we will see you next time.